From UFOs to ghosts and psychic powers, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now and learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. Stretching about 25 miles long and about a mile wide, the Loch Ness is one of Scotland's largest, deepest lakes. It's also the most famous. According to monster hunters, the loch is home to a creature known as Nessie. Sources allege that Nessie sightings date back to the time of the Vikings, but the first modern sightings began to occur in 1930, when a local paper reported that a youth named Ian Milne saw a gigantic creature in the water while fishing with his friends. When Nessie reports escalated, the hunt began in earnest, and it continues today. Nessie sightings have persisted over more than a century. Cryptozoologists and hoaxers alike have visited the loch in hopes of glimpsing the creature, or of convincing someone else that they saw Nessie. There's no solid proof of the lake monster, no bones, no reliable photos or video. Much of the so-called evidence of this monster has been proven false, and usually the work of pranksters. To the mainstream world, the case is closed. Numerous scientific problems plague the Nessie story. This hasn't stopped cryptozoologists from pouring millions into the hunt for this monster. They've even expanded their search, on suspicion that the Loch Ness might not be the only home for these creatures. Here's where it gets crazy. Across the world, there are many lakes that claim to be home to something like Nessie. Take Lake Champlain, which has for decades been known as the home of Champ. In Patagonia, tourists report seeing a monster called the Nahuelito in the enormous Nahuele Lake. Neither of these cases have been proven either, but their resemblance to Nessie reports is uncanny. Cryptozoologists like Tim Dimsdale believe creatures like Nessie might be isolated pockets of animals thought to have gone extinct, such as the plesiosaur. Could this be possible? The oceans are large enough to support an animal of this size, but lakes are a tricky matter. Loch Ness Lake was covered by a glacier for over 20,000 years, and it was formed about 10,000 years ago. Current scientific evidence shows that the plesiosaur died out over 60 million years ago, toward the end of the Cretaceous period. Therefore, a creature the size of Nessie would have had to enter the loch after the lake was fully formed, and that species would have had to live much, much longer than scientists originally thought. Additionally, lakes have limited ecological supplies. Could the local food sources support a breeding population? Is it possible that, at some depth, Loch Ness connects to other bodies of water with sufficient resources? This isn't the only problem with the plesiosaur theory. Fossil evidence indicates that plesiosaurs couldn't move their necks like Nessie, and experts believe plesiosaurs were found in tropical areas, not cold environments. So could Nessie be something else? A misidentified animal perhaps, or another undiscovered creature? Eels are native to the loch, and University of Chicago biologist Roy P. Mackle has hypothesized that Nessie may be an undiscovered amphibian, or a type of whale called a basilosaurus or zeuglodon. Yet to date, the most compelling evidence seems to crumble under scientific scrutiny. In 1977, a Japanese ship caught what appeared to be the corpse of a Nessie-like beast near New Zealand. After a flurry of excitement, it was found to be nothing more than the corpse of a shark. In 2003, the BBC thoroughly searched the loch and found nothing. This hasn't stopped people from continuing the search for lake monsters across the world. Despite numerous hoaxes and dashed hopes, the search for Nessie continues. It's possible that somewhere, someone has the complete explanation for the Nessie legend, but if the skeptics are right, that explanation may be something they don't want you to know.